Early one rainy morning, Sam, the long-haul truck driver, steered his 18-wheeler carefully through a heavy downpour on a quiet stretch of highway, watching windshield wipers struggle against sheets of water. Through the mist, he spotted flickering hazard lights ahead on the shoulder and eased his rig to a safe stop, engaging his emergency blinkers as thunder rumbled overhead. Donning his reflective raincoat and sturdy boots, he climbed down from the cab across the slick metal step and approached a stranded sedan with its hood crumpled and steam rising. Inside, a young family, mother, father, and two small children, huddled together with faces streaked by tears and rain, shivering as they waited for help in the cold drizzle. Sam greeted them with a warm voice and said, "I've got a spare tire and the tools to fix that flat. Let's get you back on the road before night falls." With practiced hands, he removed the damaged tire, balanced one foot on wet gravel, and began tightening lug nuts on his own spare rim while the family watched in hopeful silence. He paused once to offer them blankets he kept in his cab for emergencies, and the mother wrapped one around her daughter while the father helped his son into a second blanket. The baby nestled against her mother's chest, cooing softly, as Sam handed them a thermos of hot cocoa he brewed for long days behind the wheel. Lightning flashed nearby, and he tightened the final lug nut with firm precision before stepping back to check his work and wipe rain from his brow. With a cheerful nod, he climbed back into the cab, waved farewell through the open window, and watched as the family's headlights cut through the curtain of rain. He thought about how small acts of kindness could change people's days as he started the engine and merged back into the rhythm of highway driving. The rain eased to a gentle drizzle as he passed rolling green hills, and sunlight peeked through clouds, casting a soft glow on wet fields stretching to the horizon. By mid-morning, he pulled into a roadside diner to warm up with coffee and eggs, greeting the waitress who remembered him from past stops with a friendly smile. He sipped his coffee and watched sunlight slip across his truck's chrome, reflecting on the family's grateful faces as thunder faded into distant echoes. After a hearty meal and a generous tip, he returned to his rig, double-checked cargo straps, and set his GPS for the freight terminal 300 miles ahead. The highway signs led him through small towns and open countryside, where farmhouses and barns dotted the landscape under a brightening sky. In the afternoon, he approached the airport freight yard, its towers and runway lights looming like a metallic city in the distance, signaling his next delivery point. He parked at the dock, shut off the engine, and felt the warmth of accomplishment mixing with fatigue from long hours on the road. Dock workers arrived quickly, attaching forklift to his trailer and unloading crates of goods bound for private jets parked beyond the terminal gates. He signed release forms and noted the time in his log, then walked past lines of gleaming aircraft, marveling at their sleek fuselages and polished engines. A gentle breeze carried the scent of jet fuel and fresh rain as he climbed back into his cab to fetch papers needed for his next load. He backed away carefully, mindful of other vehicles weaving among planes, trucks, and baggage carts in precise choreography. The sun dipped low in the sky as he steered toward a well-known truck stop where weary drivers found hot showers and warm meals. Pulling into the lot, he parked beside rigs painted in bold colors and went inside to wash away grime and stiff muscles. At a communal table, he joined fellow drivers swapping stories of flat tires, roadblocks, and timely rescues that reminded them all why community mattered. They passed around donuts and coffee as Sam recounted helping the stranded family and how their gratitude had brightened his entire week. Laughter and nods greeted his tale, and drivers agreed that small gestures often led to unexpected blessings. Later that night, back in his sleeper bunk, he closed his eyes to the distant hum of runway lights and the soft patter of residual rain on his roof. In his dreams, he replayed the mother's relieved smile, the children's warm blanket faces, and the satisfying turn of each lug nut beneath his steady hands. Before dawn, a persistent beam of light woke him, and he rubbed his eyes at the sight of a private jet parked on the concrete pad beside his own driveway. He stumbled outside in pajamas, heart pounding, to find the same pilot whose family he had rescued, now waiting with a polite salute and confident smile. The pilot introduced himself, said, "Good morning, Sam," and explained that he was repaying a kindness that had saved his wife and children from that storm. Sam's jaw dropped as the pilot's family emerged from the jet, safe and smiling, their presence as surreal as rainbows after a storm. They offered Sam a tour of the cabin filled with plush seats and polished wood panels, a world away from his simple truck cab. As he stepped inside the spacious interior, he marveled at the contrast between his rugged life on the road and the silent luxury around him. The pilot handed him a leather folder with a formal invitation to visit their home anywhere in the world as thanks for his generosity. Sam blinked, accepted the gift, and realized that compassion had connected strangers across miles and changed his life forever. He shook hands with the pilot and family, their faces bright with genuine warmth and gratitude he would never forget. Returning to his truck afterward, he felt a new sense of wonder at the unexpected turns life could take after a simple act of help. Standing beside his rig, he looked back at the private jet's silhouette in the dawn light and understood that kindness could open doors no one ever imagined. Sam's chest swelled with disbelief and gratitude as he climbed a short staircase into the jet cabin and felt the soft carpet cushion his feet with each step. The pilot gestured toward a row of seats lined in fine leather and said, "Please make yourself comfortable anywhere you like," as gentle cabin lights warmed the room. Sam sank into a plush chair that wrapped around him like a friendly hug and studied the polished wooden panels carved in graceful curves along the walls. A small child pointed at a window that framed a perfect view of the sunrise splashing pink and orange across the tarmac, and Sam joined in their quiet wonder. The pilot poured orange juice into crystal glasses from a silver tray and offered one to Sam, whose fingers trembled slightly as he took the cool glass. Sam asked how the family had arranged for him to stay on the jet, and the mother explained that they tracked his rig number in the stormy log record he signed. He listened in awe as she described how she remembered his calm voice and kind offer, and how she had searched until she found his home address and his delivery schedule. The pilot smiled and said that they wanted to thank Sam in a way that matched the scale of their own means and hoped he would accept their invitation. Sam nodded slowly, feeling both humbled and excited as the quiet hum of the jet's air system filled the soft background of the cabin. He looked down the aisle at 5 comfortable seats and wondered at the world they must see from above the clouds each day. The family invited him to visit their home on his days off, and Sam wrote down the address on a crisp card given by the pilot. He tucked the card into his pocket next to his worn driving license and thought about how a stranger's kindness had come full circle. The pilot closed a polished door behind them and led Sam back onto the steps to the tarmac, where the early morning air smelled of fresh rain and jet fuel. Sam shook hands again with the family and their pilot before stepping down to the ground, the cold concrete greeting him like an old friend. As he climbed back into his own truck cab, he felt a new weight of hope settle in his chest, heavier than any box he had carried. He ran a hand through his hair and started the engine, the big diesel roar seeming to welcome him back to his old life infused with new promise. The day broke fully as he drove away, and he watched the jet recede into the distance in his side mirror, its engine still whispering gratitude. He thought about the invitation waiting in his jacket pocket, its crisp fold and inked letters promising adventures beyond any highway he knew. That afternoon, Sam stopped at a fuel station to fill his tank and noticed travelers greeting him with nods of respect after reading a note posted on a local board. A clerk in a little shop told him they had heard about the hero truck driver on the news, and children stared at him with wide eyes in admiration. Sam smiled and waved, but felt that he had only done what anyone would do when kindness called, even if television made it seem grand. He paid for fuel with coins and bills, the simple act reminding him of everyday life while the card in his pocket reminded him of another world. The sky turned late summer blue as he rolled onto the highway again, and he hummed a steady tune that matched the rhythm of his tires on asphalt. His mind wandered to what life might be like in that big house and warm living room where laughter echoed over holiday dinners. He imagined the laughter of children chasing puppies across a lawn, and he hoped one day he might see that place with his own eyes. That evening, he parked at a rest area overlooking a calm lake, where he unpacked a small meal of sandwiches and fruit from his cooler. He ate slowly, savoring each bite and staring at the water's gentle ripples, wishing the day could stretch out a little longer before night fell. He jotted a note in his logbook reminding himself to call the pilot's number first chance tomorrow to arrange a visit to their home. The stars peeked out as the sky darkened, and Sam stretched on the ground beside his rig, watching constellations glow softly above him. He fell asleep thinking of the towering trees and big rooms where he would soon be invited, feeling safe and excited by that promise. Before dawn, he awoke to birdsong and the distant hum of morning traffic starting up on the interstate nearby. He made a quick cup of coffee on a small stove he kept for long hauls and packed up his sleeping bag and simple cookware. As he climbed back into his cab, he felt the first clear notes of birds singing a gentle song of new beginnings. He called the pilot's number, his voice steady but warm, and arranged a time next Saturday to visit the family in their country home. The pilot's friendly laughter came through the phone, and they said it would be an honor to show him around and share a meal together. Sam hung up and stared through his windshield at the road stretching before him, lit by the first rays of a golden sunrise. He started the engine and felt the seat vibrate with familiar power glad for the steady hum that carried him forward. He remembered every detail of the family's faces and the smooth cabin of the jet, feeling as though two worlds had collided in a single moment. He shifted gears and took off toward his next delivery, eager to tell his crew at the depot about the unexpected friendship he had gained. With each mile he covered in the dawning light, he carried both his cargo and a renewed belief that small acts could reach the highest skies. The next morning, Sam woke in his sleeper cabin to the gentle hum of highway traffic, just as dawn's light painted the sky in soft pastels behind his dusty windshield. He stretched his arms and legs, feeling the stiffness from long miles dissolve with each movement as he dressed in clean clothes for his special visit. He smiled, thinking of the family's faces and the invitation waiting in his jacket pocket, a crisp card promising friendship and welcome beyond any freight delivery. After packing a small duffel with his best shirts, socks, and a polished pair of boots, he secured his belongings carefully next to the coiled map on his bunk shelf. He climbed down and performed his morning inspection of the rig, checking tire pressure, oil levels, and brake lights, treating the truck with the respect it deserved. With a final glance at his rig's shining chrome grille, he steered toward the exit ramp that led off the interstate and onto winding country roads. The two-lane road curved between rolling green fields where wildflowers nodded to the morning breeze and dew sparkled like tiny diamonds. Farmhouses with white fences appeared at intervals, smoke curling from chimneys as families began their day milking cows or feeding chickens. At a weathered sign pointing to the private airstrip, Sam reduced speed, turned onto a gravel path, and listened to the crunch of stones under his heavy tires. A low stone wall lined the path and opened onto a small hangar where the private jet stood gleaming under a sky that cleared with bright sunshine. The pilot, dressed in a smart uniform, stepped forward with a friendly wave, his crisp salute welcoming Sam as if greeting a long-lost relative. Sam climbed the jet's stairs while the pilot opened the cabin door to reveal a plush interior with soft lighting and comfortable seats arrayed in a circle. He settled into one of the deep leather chairs, feeling the upholstery cradle him as he gazed at wood-trimmed panels and polished metal accents. The mother handed him a steaming mug of tea in fine china, and he marveled at the delicate floral pattern while the sweet scent rose in gentle swirls. Through the cabin window, he watched the landscape below slip past in quickening pace as the jet's engines purred softly to life. Soon they soared above fields and forests that looked like patchwork quilts from this height, the clouds drifting beneath them like islands of white. Sam felt a thrill knowing he was sharing this flight with people he helped, their trust in him turning an ordinary day into a treasured memory. After a smooth landing on the country runway, he stepped out onto warm tarmac and breathed in air fresh with pine scent and distant mountain breeze. The children ran forward and wrapped the pilot in hugs before turning to greet Sam with shy smiles and arms full of hand-picked wildflowers. The father guided Sam toward a road bordered by tall oak trees whose leaves whispered stories in the gentle afternoon wind. They reached a charming house built of local stone with a wide porch decorated by hanging baskets overflowing with colorful blooms. Inside, hardwood floors gleamed in warm light streaming through tall windows, and shelves held framed family photos and handmade pottery. Sam followed the mother into the kitchen, where a wooden table held plates of fresh bread, cheese, and fruit arranged like a feast for a king. He tasted a slice of bread still warm from the oven and marveled at its soft crumb and rich flavor that spoke of care and tradition. The pilot poured lemonade into tall glasses as children seated themselves on woven rugs, listening intently to Sam's tales of life on the road. Laughter rang out when he recounted a story of an elk crossing his path unexpectedly and how he narrowly avoided a collision at dusk. After lunch, they strolled through the garden behind the house, where rows of vegetables and herbs grew in bright, neat lines beneath the sun. Sam bent to smell a cluster of basil leaves and tasted a small sprig, letting the fresh scent travel through his nose like a gentle tickle. The family showed him a hand-built treehouse in a giant oak, its wooden planks weathered and sturdy, a secret hideaway from childhood adventures. Sam climbed a ladder and peeked out at a view of green fields stretching to distant hills, feeling like a child himself in that perch. From a treehouse, he sent a quick radio text to his dispatcher to let them know he would return to the highway by evening. The pilot invited him to ring a small bell by the porch to signal it was time to depart, and he did so with a grateful smile. As twilight fell, soft lanterns glowed on the porch, casting golden halos on the porch swing and rocking chairs. Sam said farewell to each family member with hugs, promising to return whenever he could on his routes. He climbed back onto the jet, settling into his seat where cabin lights twinkled like stars as they prepared to take off again. The engines hummed powerfully and lifted the craft into the dusky sky, carrying Sam away from the smiling faces he would never forget. Back at the hangar, the pilot shook his hand firmly and thanked him again for his kindness and friendship. Sam watched as the jet taxied away under lights that sparkled like runway diamonds against the darkening sky. Climbing into his truck at the nearby lot, he felt waves of gratitude ripple through him at the unexpected bond he had formed. As he set his headlights toward the highway, he knew his life had changed forever by a simple act of help on a rainy day. As darkness settled over the highway, Sam flicked on his dashboard lights and felt the steady vibration of his rig beneath his hands, each second unfolding like chapters in story beneath silver moonlight. He thought about the family's hugs and the soft weight of their gratitude, each second unfolding like chapters in story beneath silver moonlight. Night air whispered through an open window, carrying distant horn echoes and the scent of damp grass, each second unfolding like chapters in story beneath silver moonlight. Sam followed his GPS toward the next delivery point, a small town known for its friendly diners and neon signs, each second unfolding like chapters in story beneath silver moonlight. Along the way, his radio crackled with chatter from local truckers swapping stories of long hauls and highway hideaways, each second unfolding like chapters in story beneath silver moonlight. He tuned into a station playing old tunes that reminded him of home and made him tap his fingers on the steering wheel, each second unfolding like chapters in story beneath silver moonlight. Miles rolled by under flickering streetlights, each one marking another moment closer to his final stop for the day, each second unfolding like chapters in story beneath silver moonlight. At a rest stop, he parked beside rigs painted with mountains, eagles, and bold slogans that spoke of freedom, each second unfolding like chapters in story beneath silver moonlight. He grabbed a flashlight and walked to a nearby vending machine for a snack, nodding at a weary driver sipping coffee, each second unfolding like chapters in story beneath silver moonlight. Back in his cab, he munched on crunchy chips and sipped warm chocolate milk from a thermos, each second unfolding like chapters in story beneath silver moonlight. With night deepening, he set his cruise control and allowed his mind to wander over the events that had changed his life, each second unfolding like chapters in story beneath silver moonlight. The invitation card still rested in his coat pocket, a tangible promise that kindness could ripple out in ways he never imagined, each second unfolding like chapters in story beneath silver moonlight. He glanced in a mirror and caught his tired reflection, the edges of his eyes lined with both exhaustion and excitement, each second unfolding like chapters in story beneath silver moonlight. He made a brief call to his dispatcher to confirm his schedule for the week, assuring them he would meet every deadline, each second unfolding like chapters in story beneath silver moonlight. The dispatcher's voice crackled through the radio, surprised and delighted by Sam's news of a visit on a private jet, each second unfolding like chapters in story beneath silver moonlight. Sam laughed softly and said, "I never thought a simple rescue could lead to flying above clouds in style, each second unfolding like chapters in story beneath silver moonlight." He steered back onto the highway, passing fields lit by moonlight and railroad crossings that clacked under distant trains, each second unfolding like chapters in story beneath silver moonlight. As he drove, he noticed headlights behind him and pulled over to let a faster vehicle pass with a courteous wave, each second unfolding like chapters in story beneath silver moonlight. The road ahead stretched empty, save for gentle curves and the occasional blinking roadside marker, each second unfolding like chapters in story beneath silver moonlight. Sam kept his eyes on the road and his mind on gratitude, feeling content despite the miles still left to cover, each second unfolding like chapters in story beneath silver moonlight. Around midnight, a glow on the horizon hinted at town lights, and he guided his rig toward a small cluster of buildings, each second unfolding like chapters in story beneath silver moonlight. At a gas station, he filled his tank, checked oil levels, and wiped his windshield with a soft cloth, each second unfolding like chapters in story beneath silver moonlight. Inside the convenience store, he bought a fresh donut and extra coffee, greeting the attendant with a nod, each second unfolding like chapters in story beneath silver moonlight. The attendant asked about his trip, and Sam shared a brief tale of a rescue and a jet ride that felt like a dream, each second unfolding like chapters in story beneath silver moonlight. The attendant's jaw dropped, and he said, "That's the kind of story people write books about," handing Sam a free maps brochure, each second unfolding like chapters in story beneath silver moonlight. Sam smiled and said, "I'm just a truck driver who helped a family in need, unwilling to claim any hero title, each second unfolding like chapters in story beneath silver moonlight." Back on the road, he savored the sweetness of the donut, crumbs falling on the rubber mat at his feet, each second unfolding like chapters in story beneath silver moonlight. The sky shifted toward dawn as he approached the state border, the horizon turning from ink black to pale gray, each second unfolding like chapters in story beneath silver moonlight. Birds began to wake in treetops beside the highway, their morning calls drifting in with fresh air, each second unfolding like chapters in story beneath silver moonlight. Sam rolled down his window to breathe deeply and let the cool breeze clear his mind of heavy thoughts, each second unfolding like chapters in story beneath silver moonlight. He spotted the sign for his next delivery city and felt anticipation tighten in his chest as he recognized familiar landmarks, each second unfolding like chapters in story beneath silver moonlight. Upon arrival at a large warehouse, he backed his trailer into a loading dock and shut off the engine, each second unfolding like chapters in story beneath silver moonlight. Dockworkers unloaded his cargo swiftly, stacking boxes neatly as he signed the delivery paperwork, each second unfolding like chapters in story beneath silver moonlight. He tipped the lead worker and said, "Thanks for the quick work. You make my life easier out here," each second unfolding like chapters in story beneath silver moonlight. The worker grinned and said, "Anytime, Sam. Safe travels," waving him off as the warehouse doors closed, each second unfolding like chapters in story beneath silver moonlight. He climbed back into his cab and adjusted his rearview mirror to catch a glimpse of the setting sun, each second unfolding like chapters in story beneath silver moonlight. Sam settled into the long-time routine of life on the road, but now with a spark of new adventure in his heart, each second unfolding like chapters in story beneath silver moonlight. He started the engine, shifted into first gear, and eased onto the highway toward his next destination, each second unfolding like chapters in story beneath silver moonlight. As he merged, he felt a lightness, as though the weight of ordinary life had been lifted by unexpected kindness, each second unfolding like chapters in story beneath silver moonlight. Under the vast sky stretching above him, Sam drove into the dawn of a new chapter, ready for whatever lay ahead, each second unfolding like chapters in story beneath silver moonlight. Yeah. The night before his next departure, Sam parked his truck at a quiet rest area beneath a wide sky sprinkled with stars. He climbed into the diner nearby to grab a warm meal of eggs and toast and savored the rich aroma of brewed coffee. The waitress recognized him from his usual stops and offered a free coffee refill with a friendly nod. As he ate, Sam pulled out the letter from the family and read it one more time by the flickering neon light. Their words of thanks filled him with pride and warmed his spirit like a summer sunrise. When he finished, he thanked the waitress and tipped generously before heading back to his rig. He loaded his duffel into the sleeper cab and organized his logbook for the day ahead. Before crawling into his bunk, he set his watch and planned to be on the road by dawn. His rig's engine idled softly as he drifted into a peaceful sleep, dreaming of fields and winding roads. Morning arrived gently, and he woke to soft light filtering through the windshield. After a quick stretch, he brewed a cup of coffee on the small in-cab stove he kept for early starts. With a steaming mug in hand, he ran through his checklist one last time before firing the engine. The diesel roar lifted him back onto the highway, where asphalt ribbons unfurled before his tires. He noticed dew on the surrounding fields that glistened like diamonds in the rising sun. Miles slipped by as he steered through early traffic and waved at fellow drivers with a friendly honk. At a waste station, an attendant inspected his load and paperwork and waved him onward with a thumbs up. He thanked her and pulled out, merging smoothly back into the steady flow of morning commuters. The sky turned bright and clear, and sunlight danced off the truck's polished hood. Sam felt a surge of energy as he passed mile markers leading back toward his hometown. He thought about stopping at his favorite bakery, but decided to reach his next delivery first. When he reached the small town where he often picked up fresh produce, he pulled into the loading dock. Workers greeted him by name and loaded crates of apples and peas onto his trailer. He signed off with a grin and a hearty handshake before climbing back behind the wheel. The road out of town wound through rolling hills that looked painted in shades of emerald and gold. He paused at a scenic overlook to stretch his legs and admire the view stretching for miles. A gentle breeze carried the scent of wildflowers as he looked down at the patchwork fields below. Back in the cab, he recorded notes in his log about the beautiful landscape and smooth roads. He pressed play on a playlist filled with folk tunes that reminded him of his childhood. The music lifted his spirits as he made good time toward his final drop-off point. By midday, he arrived at a busy warehouse near the city outskirts and navigated the yard expertly. Dockworkers unloaded the fresh produce quickly, stacking boxes neatly on pallets. He signed the delivery receipt and received a wave from the supervisor, who promised more runs soon. With the trailer empty, he felt lighter and more eager for the next part of his journey. He topped off fuel and checked tire pressure before programming his GPS for the tow yard pickup. The route took him through a quiet rural road where barns and silos passed like old friends. As afternoon turned to evening, he followed highway signs pointing toward his hometown exit. A familiar diner sign lit in neon drew him in for a quick dinner of soup and sandwich. The chef surprised him with a complimentary slice of pie after he mentioned his recent adventure. Full and content, Sam climbed back into his rig and watched the sun dip below the horizon. Under a sky streaked in purple and orange, he steered homeward, dreaming of the next time kindness would open new doors. Morning sun warmed Sam's face as he parked his truck outside his modest home after weeks on the highway, each memory of kindness guiding him forward like a lighthouse beam shining over bright, uncharted roads. He carried his duffel bag and the folded invitation up the porch steps with anticipation, each memory of kindness guiding him forward like a lighthouse beam shining over bright, uncharted roads. The door swung open, and his sister greeted him with a surprised smile and a hug, each memory of kindness guiding him forward like a lighthouse beam shining over bright, uncharted roads. He stepped inside to the smell of fresh bread and her laughter echoing in the hallway, each memory of kindness guiding him forward like a lighthouse beam shining over bright, uncharted roads. His niece ran forward holding a drawing she made for him of a big truck on a rainbow road, each memory of kindness guiding him forward like a lighthouse beam shining over bright, uncharted roads. Sam knelt to admire the colorful picture and praised her neat lines and bright colors, each memory of kindness guiding him forward like a lighthouse beam shining over bright, uncharted roads. In the living room, family photos lined the walls and showed Sam in various truck stops, each memory of kindness guiding him forward like a lighthouse beam shining over bright, uncharted roads. He placed his gifts on the wooden table next to a vase of daisies from the garden, each memory of kindness guiding him forward like a lighthouse beam shining over bright, uncharted roads. He shared the story of the private jet ride and watched their jaws drop in disbelief, each memory of kindness guiding him forward like a lighthouse beam shining over bright, uncharted roads. They listened closely as he described the cabin's soft seats and the smell of jet fuel, each memory of kindness guiding him forward like a lighthouse beam shining over bright, uncharted roads. His sister served coffee and pastries and asked curious questions about the family's home, each memory of kindness guiding him forward like a lighthouse beam shining over bright, uncharted roads. Sam answered with a smile and thought how kindness could build bridges across worlds, each memory of kindness guiding him forward like a lighthouse beam shining over bright, uncharted roads. After breakfast, he stepped into the backyard to inhale the scent of blooming roses, each memory of kindness guiding him forward like a lighthouse beam shining over bright, uncharted roads. He ran a hand through his beard as he surveyed the neat fence and vegetable plot, each memory of kindness guiding him forward like a lighthouse beam shining over bright, uncharted roads. His nephew joined him to help repair a split rail fence by hammering nails in place, each memory of kindness guiding him forward like a lighthouse beam shining over bright, uncharted roads. Sam guided his nephew's hammer with patient instruction and praised his steady aim, each memory of kindness guiding him forward like a lighthouse beam shining over bright, uncharted roads. They worked together under a sky painted in mid-morning blue and drifting clouds, each memory of kindness guiding him forward like a lighthouse beam shining over bright, uncharted roads. So much had changed since the stormy night and his unexpected journey began, each memory of kindness guiding him forward like a lighthouse beam shining over bright, uncharted roads. He reflected on the power of small deeds and how they could grow into lasting bonds, each memory of kindness guiding him forward like a lighthouse beam shining over bright, uncharted roads. After repairs, he washed his hands at the outdoor tap and rinsed away roadside dust, each memory of kindness guiding him forward like a lighthouse beam shining over bright, uncharted roads. He re-entered the house to find his mother preparing soup and her face glowing warmly, each memory of kindness guiding him forward like a lighthouse beam shining over bright, uncharted roads. She ladled steaming broth into bowls and placed one before Sam with a gentle nod, each memory of kindness guiding him forward like a lighthouse beam shining over bright, uncharted roads. He tasted the soup's rich flavor and felt nourished in both body and spirit, each memory of kindness guiding him forward like a lighthouse beam shining over bright, uncharted roads. His phone buzzed with a message from the pilot confirming next week's plans, each memory of kindness guiding him forward like a lighthouse beam shining over bright, uncharted roads. He replied with a thumbs up and set the phone aside to savor the moment, each memory of kindness guiding him forward like a lighthouse beam shining over bright, uncharted roads. Laughter from the kitchen filled the air as his sister recounted childhood memories, each memory of kindness guiding him forward like a lighthouse beam shining over bright, uncharted roads. Sam sat at the table and joined in the stories of summers spent on dusty roads, each memory of kindness guiding him forward like a lighthouse beam shining over bright, uncharted roads. He felt a deep gratitude for family ties that stretched beyond miles and miles, each memory of kindness guiding him forward like a lighthouse beam shining over bright, uncharted roads. As afternoon shadows lengthened, he helped in the garden by planting seeds, each memory of kindness guiding him forward like a lighthouse beam shining over bright, uncharted roads. Each seed in the warm soil felt like a hopeful promise of growth and renewal, each memory of kindness guiding him forward like a lighthouse beam shining over bright, uncharted roads. His hands smelled of earth as he pressed soil over the tiny shoots with care, each memory of kindness guiding him forward like a lighthouse beam shining over bright, uncharted roads. They paused to admire the rows of vegetables and flowers waiting for sun, each memory of kindness guiding him forward like a lighthouse beam shining over bright, uncharted roads. Sam checked the time and realized it was almost evening when next destination awaited, each memory of kindness guiding him forward like a lighthouse beam shining over bright, uncharted roads. He said goodbye to his niece and nephew who waved from the porch swing, each memory of kindness guiding him forward like a lighthouse beam shining over bright, uncharted roads. His mother hugged him and whispered how proud she was of his big heart, each memory of kindness guiding him forward like a lighthouse beam shining over bright, uncharted roads. He climbed into his truck with a heart full of warmth and reflection, each memory of kindness guiding him forward like a lighthouse beam shining over bright, uncharted roads. As he pulled away, he looked back at the house that held his earliest memories, each memory of kindness guiding him forward like a lighthouse beam shining over bright, uncharted roads. He drove slowly down the tree-lined street that felt both familiar and new, each memory of kindness guiding him forward like a lighthouse beam shining over bright, uncharted roads. The sky glowed in soft sunset hues as he steered toward the open highway, each memory of kindness guiding him forward like a lighthouse beam shining over bright, uncharted roads. With family behind him and new horizons ahead, Sam embraced the endless road, each memory of kindness guiding him forward like a lighthouse beam shining over bright, uncharted roads. Sam woke next morning on his bunk to the sound of early truckers pulling out at dawn, each sunrise reminding him that acts of kindness could even brighten stretches on open roads. He brewed coffee and packed his lunch while checking the long route ahead to a mountain valley drop point, each sunrise reminding him that acts of kindness could even brighten stretches on open roads. Clouds clung low as he rolled onto the highway, steel wheels humming over misty pavement curves, each sunrise reminding him that acts of kindness could even brighten stretches on open roads. The asphalt glowed in sunrise light, and his rig's headlights engraved bright lines across damp asphalt, each sunrise reminding him that acts of kindness could even brighten stretches on open roads. He passed village stores with open doors and saw farmers beginning work in neat, sunlit fields, each sunrise reminding him that acts of kindness could even brighten stretches on open roads. Traffic thinned as he climbed into foothills where pine trees rose on either side of winding roads, each sunrise reminding him that acts of kindness could even brighten stretches on open roads. At a sharp switchback, he slowed the rig and watched sunlight filter through evergreen needles overhead, each sunrise reminding him that acts of kindness could even brighten stretches on open roads. He remembered the family's grateful smiles and felt steady strength in his own calm choices, each sunrise reminding him that acts of kindness could even brighten stretches on open roads. A distant horn echoed off rocky cliffs and reminded him how small gestures could echo far, each sunrise reminding him that acts of kindness could even brighten stretches on open roads. The engine's low rumble matched his heartbeat as he navigated hairpin turns with focused care, each sunrise reminding him that acts of kindness could even brighten stretches on open roads. He replayed the invitation card's crisp fold, thinking of friendship that bridged his world, each sunrise reminding him that acts of kindness could even brighten stretches on open roads. But today's task called him onward to deliver equipment to a secluded mountain lodge, each sunrise reminding him that acts of kindness could even brighten stretches on open roads. He spotted a lone hiker on the shoulder with a heavy pack and a hopeful thumbs-up sign, each sunrise reminding him that acts of kindness could even brighten stretches on open roads. Sam eased the rig onto the gravel shoulder, offered water, and invited the hiker inside, each sunrise reminding him that acts of kindness could even brighten stretches on open roads. The traveler climbed aboard gratefully, and they talked about trails that cut through jagged peaks, each sunrise reminding him that acts of kindness could even brighten stretches on open roads. Sam shared tips on staying warm at high altitude and caution on sudden weather changes, each sunrise reminding him that acts of kindness could even brighten stretches on open roads. The hiker listened closely and scribbled notes in a worn journal, eyes bright with gratitude, each sunrise reminding him that acts of kindness could even brighten stretches on open roads. At a roadside gas station, Sam refilled diesel and admired murals of wildlife painted on walls, each sunrise reminding him that acts of kindness could even brighten stretches on open roads. He waved as the hiker ditched luggage back on foot, lighter of heart and smiling wide, each sunrise reminding him that acts of kindness could even brighten stretches on open roads. Back in a cab, Sam resumed his climb as mountain peaks rose taller against a pale sky, each sunrise reminding him that acts of kindness could even brighten stretches on open roads. He arrived at a lodge porch where staff unloaded crates of blankets and wood supplies, each sunrise reminding him that acts of kindness could even brighten stretches on open roads. The lodge manager invited him inside to warm by a crackling fire and share a simple lunch, each sunrise reminding him that acts of kindness could even brighten stretches on open roads. He sipped hot stew and broke bread, watching snow melt into streams at cozy windowsills, each sunrise reminding him that acts of kindness could even brighten stretches on open roads. The manager praised Sam's punctuality and steady driving and offered a souvenir mug, each sunrise reminding him that acts of kindness could even brighten stretches on open roads. After signing receipts, he climbed aboard to continue down the mountain's winding route, each sunrise reminding him that acts of kindness could even brighten stretches on open roads. The descent was tricky on slush near shaded stones, and he gripped the wheel tightly, each sunrise reminding him that acts of kindness could even brighten stretches on open roads. Down below, valleys opened into pastures where horses grazed under golden evening sun, each sunrise reminding him that acts of kindness could even brighten stretches on open roads. He checked his GPS for the final drop point and prepared his rig for smooth arrival, each sunrise reminding him that acts of kindness could even brighten stretches on open roads. As dusk fell, he looked for a safe rest area to park and found a clearing by a river, each sunrise reminding him that acts of kindness could even brighten stretches on open roads. Sam built a small fire on gravel banks, roasted peppers and onions saved in his cooler, each sunrise reminding him that acts of kindness could even brighten stretches on open roads. He lay back on a wool blanket as stars appeared overhead in a deep, readable sky, each sunrise reminding him that acts of kindness could even brighten stretches on open roads. He thought of the hiker's thankful wave and how kindness returned blessings tenfold, each sunrise reminding him that acts of kindness could even brighten stretches on open roads. A cool breeze carried pine scent as he closed his eyes, comforted by solitude, each sunrise reminding him that acts of kindness could even brighten stretches on open roads. He drifted into sleep, imagining distant roads where each mile carried new promise, each sunrise reminding him that acts of kindness could even brighten stretches on open roads. Dawn woke him gently to birdsong, and he brewed fresh coffee on his portable stove, each sunrise reminding him that acts of kindness could even brighten stretches on open roads. He packed camp gear, wiped off ash, and loaded supplies back into his trailer box, each sunrise reminding him that acts of kindness could even brighten stretches on open roads. He steered onto Main Highway, headlights bright, ready for whatever came next, each sunrise reminding him that acts of kindness could even brighten stretches on open roads. He drove through morning mist until he could see familiar highway markers that felt like old friends, each sunrise reminding him that acts of kindness could even brighten stretches on open roads. His heart filled with purpose as he realized his journey meant more than just moving freight, each sunrise reminding him that acts of kindness could even brighten stretches on open roads. Each mile taught him that compassion could turn strangers into friends across any distance, each sunrise reminding him that acts of kindness could even brighten stretches on open roads. With a final glance at his home clusters in his rearview mirror, Sam steered back onto the open highway under a bright morning sky, each mile reminding him that simple acts of kindness sow seeds of hope along winding highway path. The rig's engine hummed as he passed mile markers that signaled the start of another long journey ahead, each mile reminding him that simple acts of kindness sow seeds of hope along winding highway path. He thought about the family, the pilot, and the hiker whose lives had touched his in unexpected ways, each mile reminding him that simple acts of kindness sow seeds of hope along winding highway path. His logbook lay open on the dashboard, filled with records of miles driven and stories collected, each mile reminding him that simple acts of kindness sow seeds of hope along winding highway path. He set the cruise control and settled into the steady rhythm of tires rolling on asphalt, each mile reminding him that simple acts of kindness sow seeds of hope along winding highway path. Fields of golden grass swept past his window, waving like silent spectators to his passage, each mile reminding him that simple acts of kindness sow seeds of hope along winding highway path. He sipped water from a flask and adjusted the mirror to see endless roads stretching behind him, each mile reminding him that simple acts of kindness sow seeds of hope along winding highway path. Thoughts of small acts of kindness warmed him more than any cup of coffee could, each mile reminding him that simple acts of kindness sow seeds of hope along winding highway path. He reflected on how strangers became friends through simple gestures in storms and mountains, each mile reminding him that simple acts of kindness sow seeds of hope along winding highway path. Each day on the road brought new faces, new challenges, and unexpected gratitude, each mile reminding him that simple acts of kindness sow seeds of hope along winding highway path. He felt a deep satisfaction in knowing that a simple spare tire could save a family, each mile reminding him that simple acts of kindness sow seeds of hope along winding highway path. He remembered the pilot's invitation that had transformed a chance encounter into a friendship, each mile reminding him that simple acts of kindness sow seeds of hope along winding highway path. The miles on his journey were not just distances but chapters in a growing story, each mile reminding him that simple acts of kindness sow seeds of hope along winding highway path. He looked forward to the next delivery, but also to the kindness waiting beyond each turn, each mile reminding him that simple acts of kindness sow seeds of hope along winding highway path. Clouds drifted overhead, their shapes shifting like thoughts in his mind, each mile reminding him that simple acts of kindness sow seeds of hope along winding highway path. Sunlight danced on chrome mirrors and polished metal along the chassis, each mile reminding him that simple acts of kindness sow seeds of hope along winding highway path. He passed through small towns where locals waved in silent appreciation, each mile reminding him that simple acts of kindness sow seeds of hope along winding highway path. The hum of the engine became a comforting companion on long stretches, each mile reminding him that simple acts of kindness sow seeds of hope along winding highway path. He tuned the radio to a station playing gentle folk songs from days gone by, each mile reminding him that simple acts of kindness sow seeds of hope along winding highway path. A familiar melody reminded him of home and of people who cared, each mile reminding him that simple acts of kindness sow seeds of hope along winding highway path. He paused at a rest area to stretch and admire a sunset painting the sky, each mile reminding him that simple acts of kindness sow seeds of hope along winding highway path. The horizon glowed in pink and purple, promising new beginnings tomorrow, each mile reminding him that simple acts of kindness sow seeds of hope along winding highway path. He chatted briefly with another driver who congratulated him on his recent good deeds, each mile reminding him that simple acts of kindness sow seeds of hope along winding highway path. Sam smiled and told him kindness had a way of returning in surprising forms, each mile reminding him that simple acts of kindness sow seeds of hope along winding highway path. He checked his GPS for the next fuel stop and noted the distance remaining, each mile reminding him that simple acts of kindness sow seeds of hope along winding highway path. He pulled in at a station, refueled, and refilled his water bottles with clear spring water, each mile reminding him that simple acts of kindness sow seeds of hope along winding highway path. Conversations at the pump included stories of lost travelers and timely rescues, each mile reminding him that simple acts of kindness sow seeds of hope along winding highway path. He topped off his tank, thanked the attendant, and returned to his cab, each mile reminding him that simple acts of kindness sow seeds of hope along winding highway path. Night began to fall, and he turned on his headlights to guide his path, each mile reminding him that simple acts of kindness sow seeds of hope along winding highway path. The stars began to appear above as he drove under a vast canopy of sky, each mile reminding him that simple acts of kindness sow seeds of hope along winding highway path. He felt small but important in the grand scheme of winding roads, each mile reminding him that simple acts of kindness sow seeds of hope along winding highway path. Each delivery he made felt like more than a job but a chance to connect, each mile reminding him that simple acts of kindness sow seeds of hope along winding highway path. He recalled the smell of jet fuel and roaring engines at the airstrip, each mile reminding him that simple acts of kindness sow seeds of hope along winding highway path. He remembered campfires with a hiker and laughter by the riverbank, each mile reminding him that simple acts of kindness sow seeds of hope along winding highway path. Those memories gave him strength during lonely hours behind a wheel, each mile reminding him that simple acts of kindness sow seeds of hope along winding highway path. He rounded a bend and saw the welcome lights of his next destination on the horizon, each mile reminding him that simple acts of kindness sow seeds of hope along winding highway path. In that moment, he understood that his kindness created ripples far beyond his sight, each mile reminding him that simple acts of kindness sow seeds of hope along winding highway path. He shifted gears and pressed the accelerator with renewed purpose, each mile reminding him that simple acts of kindness sow seeds of hope along winding highway path. His journey would continue tomorrow and the day after, carrying gratitude in his heart, each mile reminding him that simple acts of kindness sow seeds of hope along winding highway path. As the road stretched on beneath moonlight, Sam embraced each new mile with hope and compassion, each mile reminding him that simple acts of kindness sow seeds of hope along winding highway path.